We started?
Yes.
Hello everybody, how are you? I hope you are doing well. It's me again, Mr. Magid and Mr. Ahmed with you in front of you, and we're going to complete what we've been talking about last time. Last time in our previous video we've been talking about the comparative forms of the adjectives. And good morning. I'm going to leave you right now with Mr. Ahmed. Is going to just give you an overview or just a quick revision about the comparative forms of the adjectives.
Yes. Hello everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. Last time we talked about comparative adjectives, and we said that we have when we compare, like we use comparative adjectives to compare. Or there is this when we compare in English we call it comparison. Of course, when we compare two entities or more, two things, let's say two entities, these two entities or more plus, so they can be more than two. You compare two entities or more. That means that you need kinds of adjectives that other than the adjectives that we use to describe. If you want to describe something, of course we use adjectives to describe. We use adjectives to describe nouns. For example, we said that we say a car, and you can insert any adjective here to describe the car. You say, for example, a beautiful car, You can say a nice car, whatever. So nice here, for example, in this sentence here, is an adjective. Description of nouns, we use adjectives to describe nouns. Nice car, you can say a modern car. You can say for example a noisy car, and you can say a beautiful car. So all these are adjectives. Adjectives modify nouns. They come before nouns in English, and they change the meaning of the noun. If you say a car, it could be any car. But if you say a nice car, you modified the noun car. You're not talking about any car. You're talking about a nice car, a modern car, a noisy car, a beautiful car. Now these nice, modern, noisy, beautiful, so these are adjectives, and we use them to describe nouns. For example, I'm describing a car. I say Ferrari is a nice car, Hyundai is a nice car, for example. But if I want to compare, here we're talking about comparison, comparing two cars. If I'm talking about only one car, one entity, where I'm describing only one thing. I'm not describing things in terms of degree. Like I'm talking about one thing, or maybe more than one thing, but I'm talking about a quality this or these things have. You can say, for example, Ferrari and Hyundai are nice cars. You can describe two things, but you're not comparing them. If you compare them here, we use two kinds of adjectives other than these. We use what we saw last time. We use comparative adjectives, and we said that we have ways of making these adjectives into the comparative form. For example, nice. Now we see how many syllables this adjective has. For example, nice has only one syllable. And we said that a syllable must have one vowel sound. Like nice here has only one vowel sound, which is I, and it can have other consonants. You have I, nice. So nice is only one syllable. One syllable. If you have one syllable, for example, nice, you're going to do what? You're going to add ER. So if you have one syllable, you add ER. And because here you have E, already have this E, you're not going to add ER, you're going to add only R. Now modern, how many syllables do we have? We have two syllables. We have modern. So we have two syllables here. If you have two syllables, you're not going to add ER, but you're going to say, you're going to use more. More than the adjective. So you're going to say more modern here. More modern. Noisy, you have two syllables, you have noisy, two. But you have a Y. You're not going to say more noisy. Of course, some say that it is possible, but you're going to drop the Y, and you're going to add IR. So you're going to say noisier. You're going to omit the Y. Beautiful, because you have three syllables. You have beautiful. Three syllables. You don't need to think about it too much. You just say more. So we say more beautiful. More beautiful. And this is the rule, yes. I'll leave you with Mr. Majid to rephrase what I just said. Then he's going to tell you about the form, or the second form of adjectives that we use to compare things, which is the superlative.
Superlatives,
yes.
Okay. We have Starlight. Good morning, teachers. Good to see you.
Good morning,
Good morning, Star. How are you? Well, actually, in our last video, okay, we've been talking about the comparative forms, and if you missed that video, maybe we would like to go back to that video and see it again from the beginning of it. It is on our YouTube channel, Learn English with Megan and Ahmed, or it's also on our Facebook page, Learn English with Megan and Ahmed, the same name too. Mr. Ahmed, he gave us a quick brief about what we've been talking about last time, and it is about the comparative forms of the adjectives. And as you know, of course, we have two kinds of adjectives. We've got the short adjectives and long adjectives. You have to be aware of them, or you have to be able to differentiate between them, just to be able to use which way or which form of the comparatives you're going to use according to. Like, for example, if you have a short adjective, so the rule is just you're going to put an ER and than. Or if you have, and of course, as Mr. Ahmed told you, there are many exceptions, as he's shown you in the board here. If you have an adjective that ends with E, you're just going to add R. If it ends with Y, you're going to delete the Y and add IER, and so and so. And it's followed by then, of course. But if you got two syllable words, or maybe more than three syllable words, like the word interesting or exciting or beautiful, of course you cannot say beautifuler than, but you have to say more beautiful than. So this is what we've been talking about last time. I think today, Mr. We're going to focus on the superlative form. Remember that comparative form, you're just going to compare between two things, two people, two persons, two animals, just two nouns. But the superlative form, you're just going to compare between one and a group, a noun and a plural noun, or maybe the rest. For example, I'm going to compare between Ahmed, there's only one student in the class, and I'm going to compare between Ahmed and the whole class. So of course the whole class is more than one, so I'm going to compare a person to a group, So that's what we mean by the superlative. Yep.
Very good, yes.
Yeah. I'd like to read some comments here. Please, we just as a refresh about the comparative forms, we'd like you to give us more examples. Just give us examples as possible as you can.
I'm going to help you here.
Yeah, we're going to help you. We're going to remind you with some examples of using the comparative form.
So we use the comparative adjectives in order to compare. We use comparative adjectives and superlative to compare, but the amount or the degree of comparison differs from comparative and superlative adjectives. For example, here we have, for example, this chart. We are comparing two things. For example, we have a person here called, for example, John.
Yeah.
And we have a person here called James. Okay, and this is the top. This is the top. On the top, we have someone else. We have, for example, let's say Jack. Let's say we're going to use an adjective like tall. Tall has only one syllable, as we said. One. Remember this word syllable. The word syllable means that the word has only one vowel sound, like here, E, A, and it is pronounced as O, and we say tall, so it is not cut into other syllables. It has only one, which is tall. Tall is one syllable word. If you have one syllable word in the comparative form, you're going to add ER. ER. So here tall, you're going to say taller, taller. And you always use that in the comparative. So for example, we're comparing these three people, we're going to say that James, let's compare James and John. We're going to say James is taller than John. James is taller than John. And we're going to say Jack is taller than James and John. Jack is taller than James. Okay, so this is the comparative. We compare two or more things. But the degree of comparison, of course, differs from one form to the other. Here, tall is one syllable, as we said. We have modern. Let's say, for example, let's say an adjective with. Let's give an adjective with two syllables, like for example, clever. Clever has two syllables, it is clever. Clever. If you have two syllables, you're going to say more. But in this case, you remember, there are some exceptions to words that end, or adjectives that end in ER, OW, LE, for example, like simply you can say both. Here, clever, you can say both. You can say either, you can say cleverer, you can add ER, or you can say more. More clever. So here you can say, for example, James is more clever than John, or Jack is more clever than James, and so forth. So we always use that here. And as I said, use ER if you have one syllable. If you have more than two syllables and more, use more. Here we said that we can have both. We can say cleverer, more clever. Let's stick this one. If you have, for example, noisy. Noisy has two syllables. It is noisy, as we said. Noisy, two syllables. If you have two syllables, but the adjective ends with Y, you're going to say noisier. You're going to drop the Y and you're going to substitute it with an IER. So you're going to say James is noisier than John. And the last thing, if you have, for example, if you have more than two syllables, if you have three or more, like intelligent, you have three, you have four syllables here. If you have four syllables, three syllables or more, you say more. So you're going to say more intelligent.
Yes.
More intelligent. More intelligent. I'd like to give him some I'd like to give him some adjectives.
Yeah, alright.
Ask
So
them
we need them to make examples for us.
we want to give you some adjectives, and we'd like you please to say whether we're going to add er.
Yes.
So we use er. There are three ways. Er is more of the adjective, or you say you add IER. So we'd like you to we're going to give you some adjectives.
Alright. Right now, I've seen some comments from you. There's one of you just asking about the YouTube page, and I think I gave you our YouTube page right now. So Flora, thank you. I found a new page. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Flora. How we have a star. James is taller than John. John is shorter than James. Good. Jack is the tallest one. Perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. That's a very good start. Okay, right now we're going to give you examples. Alright, and please, kindly of you're just going to make examples for us or put them in a comparative form. Like, for example, the word, if you have the word funny,
Yes,
you got the word funny.
funny. What is the comparative form of funny?
Yeah. So how we have today saying that your sunglasses are. You should say are. Your sunglasses are clearer than mine. Thank you. That's a good. But
Yes.
it has to be, instead of is, you have to make it are because it's plural now. Okay, you most welcome, Khalil. So right now, please give us the word. Here we have an adjective, which is the word funny. Funny. Please, can you just make it? Can you just put it in a sentence in a comparative form?
Yeah.
Remember, you're going to compare between only two people, two movies, for example.
Yeah.
How we have Star saying that Jack is the most intelligent than others.
Yeah, very good. Yeah,
Good, you can say that, no problem. James is more intelligent than John. Good. Funnier, the funniest. Okay, put it in a sentence. Helena, well, do I see the name quite well? Yeah, just that's very good. That's excellent, but I need it in a context. I need it in a sentence. It's going to be funnier.
Yeah.
All right.
Very good. Funny. Let's say, for example, funny
Yeah.
has two syllables, as we said, like noisy.
Mm-hmm.
Two syllables, but it ends in a Y. Yeah. So you remember that Y. If you have Y at the end of the adjective, of course, some say that you can say more funny, but we better say funnier. So, for example, we say that. Let's say, for example, that Charlie Chaplin is funnier than, let's say, than Mr. Bean, for example.
Yeah. All right.
So now we're comparing two.
But for me, Mr. Bean is funnier.
Yes, of course,
Yeah.
it is just a matter
I
of
love him.
opinion. Yes, yeah.
All right. So right now we're going to give another one too. So here you have a word like the word safe.
Yes.
Safe. So if you'd like to use the word safe in a comparative form, remember we're just making a quick revision for the comparative form that we've been talking about in the last video. So here we have the word safe. As you can see, it is just one syllable word. It has just only one syllable. So what are you gonna say? And pay attention because it ends with E letter. Ends with an E letter at the end. Huh? So what do you think it could be? Give me a sentence. Compare between two things. Starlight is the funnier than funniest.
Yes, the funniest.
The funniest, see, if you'd like to say so, is the funniest. So Starlight is the funniest. Just that and stop.
Yes.
So, can you use the word safe in a comparative form?
Safe is one.
Yeah, it's one syllable word.
So that's one syllable. You just add yeah.
Yeah.
Easy. Two syllables. We say more.
Yep.
Two syllables and Y I E R.
Yes.
Three syllables more.
More.
It's easy.
Yeah.
Easy. So
Very good.
Safe. You're going to say.
So you're going to add. You're supposed to add ER, but since you have E, so you're just going to add R. So it's going to be safer.
Yeah, very good. Yes.
Safer.
So here, for example, we are comparing things here. Say, for example, let's say, let's compare sports. For example, we have swimming.
Swimming.
Yes, swimming. Let's say swimming. Let's write
And
swimming. And we have here, let's say golf.
yeah.
Golf. And here we have, for example, wrestling, boxing, wrestling.
Yeah.
Wrestling.
Okay. So here we're going to use the word say. Yeah, we got examples. She's prettier than her. Good.
Yes.
And also she is more pretty than her. Okay. More.
Very good.
Yeah, it's okay. It can go too. No problem about it. The car is safer than a plane. Perfect. Good. Thank you, Flora.
Very good. Yes. You're talking.
Yeah. If we were going to compare, for example, between the golf and swimming, using the adjective safe or safer in the comparative form, so it's going to be, I'm gonna say that golf is safer than swimming, or I can say that golf is safer than wrestling, or swimming is safer than wrestling.
Yeah, you can say you can say golf is safer than both.
Yeah, than both of them.
Yes, golf is safer than both.
Yeah.
Very good. Yes. Now we gave an adjective with what was it? What was the adjective? Funny. Funny.
Yeah, funny.
2 syllables and y. Funny. We said that if you have 2 and 1 and y at the end, of course you're going to say.
You're going to delete the y and you're just going to add an IER. Funnier than.
Yes.
Funnier than.
Yeah.
Yep. And if you got a 2-syllable words,
let's give one with 2 syllables here. For example, let's say.
We got many of them.
Yeah. Let's say, for example, boring.
Yeah. The word boring is it is an adjective that has 2 syllables.
We have bo.
Yeah. Rain.
And green. Boring.
And it does not end with y here, so we have to add more before it.
Yeah, boring. We're not going to say boring now, boring.
Yeah.
We're going to start with more.
More.
We're going to say more boring than.
Yeah.
Yes, so here, for example, comparing these sports again, we can say that golf is more boring than swimming.
Yes.
And swimming is more boring than wrestling.
Yes.
Than wrestling, we don't know that for. Yes.
So now we have 3-syllable words.
Yeah, 3 syllables. 3 syllables we say. Example.
You can say dramatic.
Oh, you can say, let's say exciting.
Exciting, interesting, whatever. Yeah, talking about sports, you should use, exciting.
Let's say exciting.
Exciting.
Exciting, we have 3 syllables again.
Yep.
We have exciting. 3.
Yeah.
So, of course, with 3 syllables, it's definite. We always use more.
Yes.
We say more. More exciting. More exciting. We say here, for example, swimming is more exciting than wrestling. For example.
Yeah, alright. Or you can say less if you'd like to express about the degree of exciting. You can say that swimming is less exciting than wrestling.
Yes.
You can say that.
Yeah, very good. You can say wrestling is less exciting than
swimming. Yeah. Alright. Here we have examples. I'd like to read them. Swimming is faster than wrestling. Safer, I'm sorry. Swimming is safer than wrestling. That's good stuff. Golf is saferest. This nothing called saferest. Is the safest.
You're going to say it. Yes, it's start.
Yeah.
Here you have safe, you have ER. So we have A here, we just say safer.
Yeah.
If you're going to use that superlative for this you're going to add EST, so you're going to say safest.
And we're going to talk about just later, right now. Okay?
Flora.
My husband is funnier than me.
Very good. Yes.
Than, not them. Than is funnier than me. That's very good. Alright. more exciting, the most exciting, that's very good, okay? But please try to put them in a sentence.
Yeah.
Yep, okay.
So now you're going to tell them about
the superlatives.
superlative,
Yeah, alright.
which is today's lesson. Can we keep these examples?
Yeah, alright, of course, but you
Keep
can
them
outside.
Yeah, we can keep that.
How the hell are you gonna sit?
We're going to keep them so that we just, like, we're going to make it like this is the comparative.
Yes, of course.
This is the comparative. Well, these are comparative adjectives. I'm going to circle them. Safer is the comparative of safe.
Yep.
Okay, safe.
Yes.
More boring is the comparative of boring.
Boring.
Funnier. And more
Exciting.
These are, we call them comparatives or comparative. Comparative adjectives. We use them to compare two entities or more.
Yes.
One of them is higher than the other in terms of quality or in terms of degree.
Yes.
But here we're going to talk about the highest, which is here we're going
The
to use
superlatives.
superlative. Yes. We call them superlative. I'm going to make sure not to write.
Are you sure about this? Maybe I'm going to leave you right now. Okay.
Superlative adjectives, we call them superlatives.
Yes.
And
I hope you can see the board right now, but this is we're going to talk right now. We're going to talk about how to form a superlative adjective or superlative form of adjectives. So right now, as Mr. Ahmed told you, we have many adjectives that have one syllable, two syllables, or two syllables that ends with one letter at the end, or three syllable words as an adjective. Of course, talking about superlative, you're going to talk about to compare, as I told you from the beginning of the video. You're going to compare between one and a group. For example, you're going to talk about the fastest animal. The cheetah, you can say that the cheetah is the fastest animal in the jungle, for example.
Yes.
But here, as we have examples, here we have the word safe. Yeah, it's going to be safest, yes. So, for example, I'm going to say that if I'm going to compare between the three spells that we have here in the board, here the word safe is one syllable word that ends with a letter at the end. So, if it is a short adjective, you're just going to add est, that, and est at the end. That's the form of the short adjectives.
Yeah.
But since here we have an e letter at the end, for example, let me just give them an example, just another example about if you have, for example, the word tall,
Yes.
that example, that word, that adjective is just one syllable word. So if I'm going to say that Ahmed is, I need to say that maybe he's 2 meters long, or height.
2 meters tall, yes.
Yeah, 2 meters tall. So I'm gonna say that Ahmed is that tallest. So what I'm going to add here, I'm just going to add that before the adjective, then est at the end.
Yes.
So that is the form if you're going to use an adjective in a superlative way. So,
Yes. And
yes.
And just one thing.
uh-huh.
Of course, now when we're talking about the tallest or the highest or the safest, this is what we're concerned with.
Yes.
This is what we're concerned with, which is the top, the highest point of the chart.
Yes, of course.
We don't talk about these. You cannot say here swimming is the for example safest sport. Now we're talking here about the highest point, which is but here you can say golf is safer than swimming and wrestling. You can say swimming is safer than wrestling, but you cannot say swimming is the safest in these terms, of course.
Yes, of course.
You're going to say golf is the safest.
Yeah.
And we don't say than. You don't say golf is the safest than swimming and wrestling. We just say swimming or golf is the safest, or you can say golf is the safest sport.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. Here we have an example from Abu Sudais is saying that the Pacific Ocean is larger than the Indian Ocean. Yeah, that's very good. Thank you. That's a very good example.
What is the largest ocean?
Yeah, who can tell me what's the largest ocean in the world? So, because right now we're just talking about the superlative forms.
Yes.
Back again, I was saying that if you have a short adjective, just a normal short adjective, like the word tall, if you're going to use it in a superlative form, you're just going to add that and est at the end. But here, as you can see in the board, if we have a syllable word or a syllable, one syllable adjective that has an E letter at the end, so I cannot add another E and ST too. So I'm going to say, I'm just going to add, I'm going to just add ST. So it's going to be safest.
Yeah.
So comparing between the three, one of the three of these sports, I'm going to say that, for example, the golf is the safest sport.
Yeah, so we're going to use, of course, we begin our superlative adjective with that always.
Yes, that.
So say that, then you write the adjective, which is safe. And as Mr. Majid told you, you cannot add another E here because there is already an E.
Yeah.
So you just add ST. So it is the safest.
Safest.
Or you can say the golf is the safest sport.
Yes.
Here. Two.
All right. Here we have two. We have him all saving money at the bank is the safest. Okay, that's very good. Thank you, Star. We have the same. Idris is the. You have to add the is the youngest son.
Yeah, of my sons you can say.
Or of my sons, you can say so if you'd like to. But you have to add the before it because it's a superlative form. So you have to make it definite.
Yes.
Yeah, so here we're moving to the next one here, which is an adjective that has two syllables, but it does not end with Y letter, like the adjective you have here, the word boring.
Yes.
Boring. So it is going to be, I cannot say boringest. No, it is impossible for me to say so, but I'm going to add the most. I'm going to say the most. So it's going to be the most boring. That's it. The most and the adjective. The most boring.
You can say golf is the most boring.
Boring. Yeah, I feel bored whenever I just watch it. I never played it too because it's really bored. Yes. So how we have the safest place for me is my home.
Yes.
Thank you. That's a very good example, Flora.
Yeah, very good. Yes.
Style we have learning English is the most exciting.
Yeah,
you have to use that before most.
Always.
Remember, please always. You're going to use the definite article that before the forms of the superlatives. Even if it was a short adjective or a long adjective, 1 or 2 or 3 syllable words.
Yeah.
Okay, so make sure that you're using it.
Yeah.
So here we're moving to the next one, which is a word or an adjective that has 2 syllable words, but it ends with Y letter. So here I'm going to say, I'm going to delete the Y letter. As for example, in front of you, you have funny. The word funny is an adjective. So you're just going to delete the letter Y at the end, and you're going to add an IST.
Yes.
Yeah, you're going to add an IST at the end. And before it, of course, remember to put the.
Yes.
So it is going to be the funniest. The funniest. For example, Mr. Bean is the funniest actor I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I can say so.
Yeah, very good. Yes.
Yeah. And I'm going to leave you right now with Mr. Ahmed is going to tell you about the last one we have here, which is an adjective that has more 3 syllables.
So if you have if you have 3 syllables and more, you have no problem. Don't think about it. Just say more in the comparative and say the most in the superlative. Always. If you have 3, there is no confusion here. Whenever you have 3 syllables or more than 3 syllables, you always use most. And of course we say that.
The before it.
Always begin your superlative adjectives with that. And say the most and you write the adjective which is exciting here in the corner. The most exciting. And you say, for example, these are, of course, these are matters of opinion. You can say, for example, football is the most exciting sport.
Yes.
Or maybe Mr. Majid disagrees with me and says golf is the most exciting sport.
I would never say that. It's the most boring one.
Yeah. Say, for example,
here,
motor racing, something.
Yeah. So here I'd like to read some examples. To here we have Laura saying that the most boring place for me is the cafeteria. Just an example.
Very good, yes.
That's very good. But it is really, for me myself, it is the most boring place. I cannot stand that. The most boring in my life is when I don't have money. The most boring what? You have to put it out, right?
Yeah, you can see the most boring time
or period or something like that. So the most boring, because remember, boring is an adjective. It has to be followed by a noun.
Very good. So basically give a noble example. Very good.
Yeah, can you read that?
Hurting someone's feelings is the worst thing. Very good.
Yes, that's very good.
Excellent example.
Yes. Yeah. So right now we're going to give you adjectives.
So we're going to erase these because we're talking today only
about
superlative. We're going to leave those in the corner.
Anyway, they're not going to be appearing because I'm hiding them. Delete them. Okay, so
we're going to move them here. So yes, we said that if you have one syllable, just to make it to rephrase it, if you have one syllable, and we gave an example with safe, you're going to say that. You have safe. Of course, always our superlative adjectives begin with safe, so we're going to say the safest, or the safest. And because you have E here, you're not going to say, again, you're not going to add
another E, so it's going to be just ST.
Always, if you have two syllables, not always, of course, there are some exceptions. We talked about them the other day. If you have two syllables like boring, here you say boring.
Yeah, so you're going to use
always begin with the
most.
And because you have two syllables, you're going to use most.
Yeah.
The most boring.
Yes.
And if you have two syllables here, this is an exception. Two syllables, and you have a Y
letter.
Y. Like for example, the one that we have here, funny.
The funniest.
We're going to omit or just drop the
Y letter.
The Y, and we add I-E-S-T.
Yes.
If you have three syllables or more, as we said, don't even think about it. Just use the most. And we gave example with exciting. Exciting, yes. Exciting.
If you're going to write anything again, we're going to write them down here. This session.
It's the same thing. Now I'm going to use that part. Yeah.
So, you are great teachers. Thank you so much, Flora. Thank you.
Thank you, yes.
All right. So right now, I think you've been able to know or to how to form comparative form of an adjective or even a superlative form of any adjectives. So right now we're going to give you adjectives, and we need you to use them in examples in a superlative way.
Yes.
Right. So
just like the other day, we're going to give, for example, like we're going to write here. We're going to write two, or we're going to write.
Yeah. All right.
Just as we said, it's just a matter of opinion.
Yeah. Just
say films.
Okay. All right.
And we're going to use an adjective which is, for example, let's say popular.
Interesting.
Or interesting.
Yeah. All right.
Let's begin with a one syllable adjective. If you have any one syllable adjective. Okay.
For the films.
Cool. Let's use cool.
All right.
Cool.
Anyway, just pick.
Yes. Oh, let's choose something different. Let's use animals. Okay, animals.
You're gonna talk about animals because it's going to be more easy.
Yeah, animals easier, and we're going to use. We'd like you to use the adjective fast.
Yes.
It's one syllable adjective. It's here. We'd like you to pick any animals that you know and compare them. Not compare them, but give us the
Superlative form.
The one that is here on the top.
Yeah.
For example, we have many animals here. For example, let's say the tortoise.
Yeah. Tell you what, I'd like you, our dear viewers, to imagine that as if you are in a zoo, all right, and you just using the superlative forms of the adjective fast, and tell us about which animal is the fastest.
Yes.
Yeah, which animal is the fastest? Who can tell us?
Yeah, we're going to help you.
Yeah. So we'd like you to use the verb. Oh, I'm sorry. The adjective fast in a superlative form, and we have many animals. Mr. Ahmed gave us. We have the
Tortoise.
Yeah, the tortoise.
We have the deer. And we have the jaguar.
Yep.
And the last one is the cheetah.
Yes.
So it is going to be. It's going to be what?
Yeah. So which animal is the fastest animal here?
Yes.
Muhammad is the craziest man who I ever met in the world. Who I have ever met. You should write down have.
Yes.
I've ever met. Well, no need to use who. So you can say that Muhammad is the craziest man I've ever met in the world. It can go like that. Stop. Thank you.
No, here Abu Sudais just mentioned something that we need to.
Yeah, irregular adjectives. Yes. Yeah. All right. That's. Thank you.
We won't write them here.
Yeah. We have the adjectives like good, bad, far, and and little.
Yeah, we have these others, but
we have
focus only on these here.
Yeah, all right.
Just these three because they are common.
They're common, yes. We got good in the comparative form is going to be better. So, but here in the superlative form is going to be the best.
Yes.
Bad, worse, the worst. These are some irregular adjectives. Of course, it is not all of them, but just some common of them, very common. We have bad, worse, and the worst. Far, you can say further or farther. In the superlative form, you're going to say the farthest, or the furthest.
Yes,
you can say so.
Further and furthest, yes.
Yes.
Very
so
good.
here we have the zoo is
the safest place.
Is the safest
for
place for animals.
Very good, yes.
Good, thank you.
Yes, the safest place for animals is the jungle.
Yes.
And jaguar is fastest. Very good, yes. But always remember,
you put that.
You have to use that.
Yeah.
Always begin your superlative adjectives with that. So you're going to say the jaguar is the fastest animal in the world.
And I think you should add that before the word jaguar, before the animal, not before the animal itself. Yeah. You remember always to use that before the noun you're using, because you're talking about the whole speech.
Yes.
Whole speeches are of that, not only a specific jaguar or a specific animal that you're talking about.
Yeah.
So all the speeches, so you're gonna say that that jaguar is the fastest animal in the world.
Yeah, very good. So Star corrected the piece of information here. So cheetah is the fastest.
Yeah, the cheetah. That cheetah. Remember to say that. Remember to use that before the noun. So the cheetah is the fastest animal in the
world.
In the world. The jaguar is faster than the deer. You have to use that too before the nouns.
Excellent.
Remember. And thanks a lot for elaboration. Thank you. You're welcome, Abu Sudais.
Very good. Yes, very good. Star. You gave good, excellent examples, and Flora, very good. Yes.
All right.
We're going to move to something else. We're going to compare other things using superlative adjectives. let's use, for example, we're going to use
an irregular.
let's use food here.
Food?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
And
really
use
hungry.
Food and use the adjective tasty.
Yeah.
And remember, the tasty falls under here.
Yeah.
It falls with this one here. So it is like fun.
It's going
It is
to be-
2 syllables and Y.
Yeah, so it's going to be the tastiest.
Yes.
To say so.
So we're going to give you, for example, of course, this is a matter of opinion here.
Yeah.
So you're going to give us which food is the tastiest according to your
Point of view.
Yeah, your opinion is.
Yeah. So
What is the tastiest
Yeah.
food for you?
for me, well, I'm really so hungry right now. So any food is going to be the most delicious or the tastiest for me.
Yes.
But generally, it is the pizza.
Yeah, very good. Pizza.
Yeah, I like pizza so
Pizza
much.
is the most delicious
Delicious
It's
food.
The
For me.
tastiest food, yes.
Yeah, and it's only
It's
for
my
me.
mother's food.
Yeah.
Or everyone's mother's food is the tastiest, I think.
Yeah. So here we have the crocodile is the worst is the.
Very nice. You just
Please remember to add the before the adjective
Yeah. all
and the noun too, both of them. Yeah, you said it's okay. That crocodile, that's right. Is the worst. You have to add another the before the adjective, the worst animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I think okay, good.
What is the tastiest? Of course, tasty, as we said, is here. So we have 2 syllables.
Yeah.
It's tasty,
Yes.
and we have
Y
Y
there.
here. So we're just going to remove it and
And add ist,
I, E.
st at the end.
And of course, as we said, always remember this. Never forget it. Bear it in mind. Always say that before the
Yes.
superlative. So I'm going to say the tastiest. So you can say more tasty. That's all right. The most tasty.
The most tasty, both of them right?
Tastiest. The tastiest. Oh, we gave our examples. Waiting for yours. We're going to move to something else.
Yeah.
So pizza, Mr. Majid, is the tastiest.
Yeah, only food at the moment.
Yes.
Remember that.
Yes.
Alright.
Let's say, we can use also spicy, and you say, for example, Indian food, as
Is
far as we know,
yeah.
Indian food is the spiciest.
Or I can say the most spicy, it's okay, both of them right?
Very good. Yes. Soup.
The soup is the tastiest food.
Very good.
Good.
Soup.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you,
good.
Star. That's very
Soup
good.
is the tastiest.
Yeah.
Very good. Now let's move to something else. Let's give a different adjective. Let's say jobs and
Yeah.
hard. Okay.
Yeah.
Jobs and use the adjective hard. Hard.
Yeah.
Hard.
So how do you think we can use the word
How
or the
does it-
adjective hard in a superlative form? It is so easy.
Just 1 syllable. So you're going to add
We're just going to add that before the adjective and est at the end. So it's going to be the hardest.
Yeah.
The hardest. So what job do you think is the hardest one?
Yes. What's the hardest job?
Yeah. What for you, Mr. Ahmed? What do you think? Which job?
I think that being a police officer is the hardest job. I think. I'm not sure. Or being
Yeah.
a soldier. A soldier.
Being a soldier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People of arms in general, like soldiers and policemen.
Yeah. Maybe. Yes.
People who deal with criminals. And
Yes. Yeah, it is. Of course, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is the hardest job.
They work to keep,
Or the most
to keep
dangerous.
people safe. Yes.
Yeah. So we're waiting for your opinions about what do you think about the hardest job ever.
Flora, we don't use both most and est. We don't say the most here because tasty is like funny.
Yeah.
We don't say the most funniest. We say the funniest, and it's the same thing for tasty. We don't You say the most tastiest, but you say the tastiest.
Tastiest.
The tastiest.
So it's apparently that you should delete either one of them,
Yes.
most or IST.
The tastiest food for me is seafood.
Yeah.
Very good. Yes.
So again, what do you think is the hardest job or the most dangerous job? You're welcome, Flora.
Yeah. What is the hardest job for you, Mr. Majid?
For me, of course, not being a teacher, because it is funny. It is. I love the job.
It is kind of funny. Yes.
It kind of differs
Kind of
according to
funny.
the place.
Yes.
Anyway,
Kind of funny.
yeah. I think.
But it
being
is in
what?
terms of being hard.
I think being a surgeon. If you are a surgeon, you're responsible for people's life,
Yes.
which is something that so hard.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
cannot. Yeah. Being a surgeon.
But teaching is really a hard job.
It is hard. It is.
To deliver a piece of information to someone is not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, and you know what is the most what's the very good thing about it if you have an active student with you. So we really like you to be active with us,
Yes.
because we're just trying to help you a lot and just how to use the superlative forms.
You give examples. It doesn't matter if you make mistakes. It's okay.
Yeah.
You learn from
Don't-
mistakes.
Don't worry about mistakes at all. Mistakes are welcome here. We love mistakes, by the way.
Yes, it's totally okay.
Yeah. The hardest job. You gotta say that. Flora. Yeah, the same. Flora. You have to say the hardest job without saying most.
Yes.
For me, is to work in the zoo with animals. All right.
Very good, yes.
Very good. But
Good
please remove
Yeah, you have one syllable.
Most
Flora,
hard.
you say the hardest.
the
You
hardest.
have one syllable. One.
Omega. Flora again. The hardest.
Yeah,
Delete most, please.
Remember.
Yeah. Remember
One
to delete
syllable,
most.
EST.
Yeah. So
The
the hardest job is, for me, is
Yeah,
the
Jihad.
hardest job for me is to be a pilot.
Jihad is saying hi, my friend. How are you?
Yeah. Okay.
So we said we gave our examples. You say the hardest. Remember this.
Yeah, the
You say,
hardest.
for example, the hardest job. You say, for example, pilot or an accountant. Of course, an accountant
Yeah.
is not hard.
Here we have our students saying that honey, the honey. You gotta say that the honey is the sweetest drink
Very good. Yes.
naturally. Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
You say you should use that before honey too.
Yes.
You can-
You can say.
yeah.
You can say. It's all right. It's all right.
It's okay.
Mm.
So what about? Let us give them long adjective.
No, let's say. Yes. Let's say, for example, use two syllable adjectives. Like for example, let's say healthy.
Yeah,
Healthy is why. It's
Yeah.
like funny and
healthiest.
yes.
You want to be the healthiest.
Let's say. Let's use for example. Let's use for example boring. Again,
Mhm.
we have it as an example.
Yeah, I must correct myself. Yeah, you should too. Yes.
Let's give for example the adjective modern. And compare cities here.
Yeah, alright.
Okay, cities. Modern is two syllable adjective. It falls here.
Yes.
It's like boring. Modern.
Yeah.
Boring. Too.
Yeah.
Modern.
So you're gonna say the
Yeah. You would use the
most. Yes, the most modern.
Yes.
You're gonna say that the most modern. So which city
What
do you
is it?
think is the most modern city.
What is the most modern city in your country?
UK. Two countries.
It's the most modern city in Gulf countries.
Ooh.
I think it is
Dubai.
Dubai, yes.
Yeah.
Dubai is the most modern city in the Gulf.
Mm-hmm. So let's think about what's the most modern city in whole the world, if you'd like to. What do you think?
I think Dubai, I'm not sure, but I think Dubai is the most modern city.
It's the capital of Japan as well.
Tokyo.
Tokyo?
Tokyo is an
What do you think?
old city.
Really?
Yes.
Mm.
It's an ancient city.
So what do you think?
The most modern. Tell us about the most modern city in
New country. Just if you are from a country, any country in the world, okay. So please just tell us about the most modern city in your country. In your country, what's the most modern city in your country? In Europe is London, UK. The most modern city in Europe is London. Thank you. Very good.
Yes.
Las Vegas is the most modern city.
Excellent. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Star. Good.
Very good. Yes. Very good. Yes. The
All right.
most modern. Yes. Yeah. Very good. Yes. The most modern.
Mm.
Let's say here, for example, let's give an irregular. It's good.
Yes.
The adjective. Let's give the adjective good. Good. And let's give an activity. Give us an activity.
Yeah, here we have a thing saying that Japan is the most modern country. UK.
Yeah,
That's good. That's a good example. Thank you.
Yes.
So here we go in. We need you to use the the adjective good in a superlative form, talking about or describing an activity. And remember that the word or the adjective good is an irregular.
Yes.
And as you can see in the board here in front of you, it is going to be
Yes.
what?
It's
Going to
irregular.
be
It's,
yes. The
it's like the
yeah, it is here.
It's the best.
Yes,
The best.
the best.
Okay.
So, what do you think?
Leisure activity.
Yeah,
for
that
example.
leisure activity that you can do, and you consider it is the best activity that you can do in your free time.
Like playing video games is the
Yeah, it's
best.
one of
Is the best.
It's mine too.
Yeah, the best leisure activity for some.
Yeah.
Reading, for example. For me, reading
Yeah.
is the best.
I know that you're fond of reading.
Yes.
That's a very good
It's
thing,
really,
by the way.
It's really the best activity for me. Yes. Yes, Jihad. This lesson is the easiest lesson in grammar. Very good. Yes, Jihad.
Yeah, that's very good. Excellent.
Yes. Very good. Here we have Star. Says Maggie is the best teacher.
Oh my god.
Very good. Yes.
No, not really.
Ah, yes.
Alright, thank you, Star, so much for saying that. Thank you. This listen, but I think listen is if you
What
missed.
is it for you? What is the best
For me?
activity? Yes.
Okay, let me just correct that one here. This listen, Lesson, it has to be like that, listen. Because his letter is written here, listen.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a
Listen.
verb. Yeah, lesson. Write it down on the board. Lesson. That's the word lesson. Jihad. Okay. Good.
Leisure.
Swimming is the best sport.
Yes.
Thank you, Flora. Good. Swimming is the best sport.
Yeah, very good. Yes.
Yeah. For me, I told you, playing video games.
Is the best. That's
Yeah,
very
it's the
good.
best activity I can do in my leisure time.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's very good. Yes.
Dragon. What? What's
Is
that?
That's Jihad. Jihad is the smartest student.
Yeah. Here we have.
That's a very good compliment.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Good start.
I think.
Yeah, I think that we've covered all what
And
was.
as Jihad just
Yeah.
said, it's the easiest lesson.
It's so easy.
Superlative adjectives. You just
Comparative and superlative forms of adjectives. I think that me and Mr. Ahmed, we've covered them in a simple way, in a very simple way, in 2 separated videos. I'm going to upload this video, inshallah, on our YouTube channel, and I've dropped already our link for the YouTube channel here, as if you can see in the comments, and I'm going to drop it again for you. Please do not forget to like and share to your friends, okay? If you like to subscribe, so that you will not miss any lesson of our videos, of any video of ours, so that you're going to be familiar with more about English language, because it is so important nowadays. So you really, if you want to learn English,
yes,
you have to practice, you have to study more. Eating my dinner is the best time. Oh my god.
yes.
Yeah, alright. Okay, so I think that we've covered.
Today.
Yes. If you have any questions, please, you can leave them in the comments. Maybe we're going to answer them later in the comments too. And at the end, we were very happy that you've been there and you keep tuned with us and participating with us, Star and Flora and Athena, Abustadais, and the rest of all of you. Those ones who were not participating too, I really thank you for not participating. It's okay, but please do not, if you're not participating because you're afraid of doing mistakes, it's okay, no problem at all.
Yes.
I myself like mistakes, because those we learn from them, we learn from our mistakes. So please let me know your mistakes. That's good.
Yes.
So we're going to leave you right now, and we're going to see you in our next live video,
Yes.
inshallah.
Inshallah.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmed.
See you. Bye bye.
Yeah, see you. See them, not me, because you're always with me. Bye bye. All right.